Hey Busy Bees! Happy first day of fall! Fall is my favorite season, and to me, fall really starts at the beginning of September, my birthday, because that's when all the fun festivities start. So today, it's the official day of fall, first official day of fall, so I thought we should kick off our baking series with some pumpkin spice scones. I'm doing a copycat better than Starbucks version of the pumpkin spice scones, and I actually bought one earlier. I'm gonna compare and contrast them once we're done. Before we start though, don't forget to subscribe below for more fun fall baking videos, and give this video a like if you love pumpkin spice. We'll start with our wet ingredients, and here I have about I would say like half a can of pumpkin puree, just like the regular small can. I would say it's about 2/3 or 3/4 of a cup. Add it to my bowl, and then I have half a cup of brown sugar, 1 egg. Now I'll just whisk the first 3 ingredients together, mix it well, and I know what you guys are gonna say. That bowl is not big enough. I know, but I wanted to use my fall colors. And this was the only like deep purple one that I had that matches so well with the orange, so forgive me. All right, that looks good. So now I'll just add 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, 1/4 cup of heavy whipping cream. If you don't want to use heavy whipping cream, you can totally sub out for whole milk or half and half, but make sure that you get enough fat in there because the fat makes it moist and delicious. And then to add a little bit of tang, 1 tablespoon of white vinegar. You're not going to taste the acid at all, but it's going to make our scones light and fluffy. Give it a final mix until everything comes together. Mix, mix, mix. And that's it for our wet ingredients. So basically our pumpkin mixture. Like I said, see how beautiful the orange matches the purple bowl? Now that we're done with this, I'm gonna move on and mix our dry ingredients. I'll set this aside. So for the dry ingredients, I'm gonna add 2 cups of all-purpose flour to a bowl. And then I have 2.5 teaspoons of pumpkin spice. I have so many videos where I've made the pumpkin spice mixture, so I thought I would just link you to one of those videos, or they sell pumpkin spice mixes everywhere now, like Trader Joe's, Whole Foods, Safeways, everywhere. So go ahead and grab that if it's easier for you. For me, since I have most of the ingredients in my pantry, I usually just make like a little jar like this, and I just use it throughout fall and make more if I need more. Then I have 2 teaspoons of baking powder, half a teaspoon of baking soda, and half a teaspoon of salt. Mix that all up, and then we'll set our dry ingredients aside. Okay, finally the last step, and I chose to do this step last because I want to keep the butter as cold as possible. You know when you bite into a scone and it's nice and crumbly, soft? The reason why is because the butter is nice and cold and it creates that air pocket once you bake it off in the hot oven, making that like nice crumbly texture. So I want to keep the butter as cold as possible. What I'm gonna do, so usually when I make scones, I would use my food processor, but since I figure not everyone has one, I'm gonna do it in a box grater because you want the butter to be kind of like pea size, lumpy and small. And I'm gonna grate most of this. I'm gonna leave the ends kind of big, and then I'll just make it smaller with my finger. So right before I started filming this, I actually just threw the butter into the freezer to make sure it's nice and cold. If you have kind of room temperature or just semi-cold butter, it's not gonna work because actually what happens is that you end up with like a flat, mushy mess in the oven once it starts to bake. So I say keep this as cold as possible. All right, cool, this is done. So now I'll just take this whole thing and put it in my flour mixture. Some pieces will be a little bit melted, but that's okay. For the bulk of them to stay cold is really important. And now with my hands, I'm just gonna lightly toss it up until the butter's coated with the flour. I just wanna lightly toss it. If you feel any large butter lumps, just go ahead and break it up with your finger. But this is all I wanna do. All right, I've cleaned off my hands. So now I'm gonna take our pumpkin mixture that we made earlier and just mix it with this. So with this, I don't wanna overmix the batter. I just wanna make sure that the pumpkin mixture is combined with the flour. All right, so this looks good. I don't wanna overmix the batter because it creates kind of like a tough scone. So this is all I'm gonna do. Now I'm gonna dump it out onto my pastry board and finish it off with my hands. Now, I think one of my goals for this baking series will be to find bigger, colorful mixing bowls because that was a little small too. Anyways, now I'm just gonna fold the dough over so that it mixes well. If it gets sticky and gets on your hand, it'll be fine. It'll go away. Just grab some flour. If there's like wet spots like this one, just fold it over to the more floury parts so that it could stick and come together. My hands are a little sticky again, so I'm gonna actually go rinse it off, and then we're gonna cut this into slices. Now the dough is still a little sticky and I want it to be a little more dry, so I'm gonna dust it with some flour just so it's pliable. And then pat it down with my bench scraper. This is the greatest tool ever if you bake a lot. It just scrapes dough beautifully. And scrape it all together. Do it on the other side. Now, what I like to do for scones is actually form it into a circle like this. We'll do 6 semi-large scones today. Medium size, not too small, not too big. And then either with your knife or bench scraper, just cut it in half and then in thirds. Perfect. Now I have a baking sheet that I've already lined with some parchment paper, and we'll just transfer our scones onto here. And that's pretty much it for our scones batter, but we're not done yet. I like to brush the top with some heavy cream to give it that beautiful sheen when it bakes in the oven. You know, that like glossy golden brown color when it comes out. Wasn't that so easy, you guys? We're almost there. I've preheated my oven to 400 degrees, and then we'll just pop these right in. I forgot to mention that if you guys wanted to add like white chocolate, dark chocolate, nuts, anything into the batter, you could totally do that too once you add the pumpkin into the dry ingredients. But these are ready to go, and I'm just gonna put them in the oven and bake them for about 20 to 25 minutes until they're nice and golden brown. Whoa, look how beautiful they are. Look how nicely they puffed up. It's gonna be soft and fluffy inside. I am so happy with how these look right now. We're gonna let them cool completely, but in the meantime, I'm gonna show you how to make the glaze. So for the glaze, the Starbucks kind has a regular white one and then a spiced one. Here I have 2 bowls. The regular white one will cover more surface area, so I have 1 cup, and then the other one for the squiggly will just have half a cup of powdered sugar. I'm gonna add 1.5 tablespoons into our white glaze and then 1 tablespoon into our spiced glaze, along with 1 teaspoon of the pumpkin spice. And we'll just mix them both up. You want it nice and thick. All right, now we can start dipping. You guys, for the baking challenge, I'm also gonna be posting some recipes on my blog that's not gonna have a video accompanying it. So be sure to check out my blog at honeysucklecatering.com. I made an everything bagel scone. Oh my gosh, it was so good. But okay, here is the one that I'm trying to model after. I actually did not cut the same shape as they did. Theirs is kind of like a square. But we're gonna make the glaze and everything look similar. Mine doesn't look as yellow as theirs, probably because maybe they added pumpkin? It'll still look good. What I'm gonna do is just spoon it on top and then let it kind of just fall over. So mine is a little more viscous, and I can tell you exactly why. The scones haven't cooled down completely. It's still a little warm. Not like super warm, but room temperature. You want it kind of cold. Okay, it's fine. And now we'll drizzle it with our other one. How fun! So while this kind of sets, let me go ahead and get to our new favorite part of the show, where I answer your questions that you gave me on Instagram. Okay, this morning I posted a video, pumpkin spice latte with cookie butter. So pumpkin spice cookie butter latte. And so many of you guys asked me where I got the coffee filter. So this is a Vietnamese coffee filter. It's super cheap, portable, and small. You can find it at any Asian market nowadays, but I got this on Amazon. I'll put the link in the description box for you guys. I think it was like maybe $7 or $10. I always get like the medium size ones, but they have various sizes, so just choose the one that best suits your needs. Coconut creme cake asked me that. And let's see, what else do we have? Skylar Cheyenne. Sorry if I said that wrong. Do you want more babies? Yes, I do! Actually, we really do, but I don't know if we're ready for it yet. I mean, Aircy is kind of a lot to deal with right now. Not to deal with, but she's just very active, and I feel like our lives are finally kind of getting back to normal again. But my friends that have 2 kids say you might as well just do it now and get it over with before you kind of get comfortable again, and then you have to do it all again. It's a lot more daunting and harder that way, but I've been enjoying like my few nights of sleep, like full nights of sleep a week. I did not have full nights of sleep yesterday. She has her premolars and molars coming in, so she has not been sleeping, poor thing. Had like a little fever too, so I don't know, I just feel like we want to figure things out a little bit and plan for the next one and be ready for it. Let's see, and let's do one more. Okay, I'm gonna pick another one from the pumpkin spice latte this morning. I don't drink coffee, but I wonder if black tea will be a good substitute for coffee. For that particular recipe for the pumpkin spice latte, I probably don't recommend substituting for black tea because I feel like the sweetness and the pumpkin level might be too much. I feel like it would work, but not with that exact recipe. Maybe I'll play around with it and I'll post it on Instagram stories. If you guys have not already followed me on Instagram, be sure to do so at Honeysuckle Bees. I post a lot about our outings. IG stories, like one of my favorite things to do. So please come over there and follow me, and let me know if you guys have any questions, because I'm gonna be posting more about your questions and trying to answer a lot more things for you guys in our future videos. The time has come. What do you guys think? Homemade version or Starbucks version? Personally, this is still warm at the bottom, so I think I prefer the homemade version. And this one just has like a really thick coating of icing glaze, which is fine, but I feel like this is enough for me. I'm not really sure what this orange is from, probably pumpkin, but you can never really be too sure. Let's open them both up side by side and see what it looks like inside. Wow! Look how fluffy and soft this is, you guys. No dry scones here. Dry scones are like the worst, but I love scones and I like them to be a little more fluffy and exactly like this with layers. I'm so happy with how this looks. I can't wait to try it. But let's compare the texture of this guy. All right, I'll give it to them. It looks not dry. There's a little bounce to it. And it has like a very brown color. I know I added half a can of pumpkin in here. I can't say how much for sure pumpkin is in here, but we'll know quickly after giving them a taste. Let's try theirs first. When I started chewing it, it's a little dry. It's not bad. It's not as bad as the other store-bought ones I've had before, but It's okay. It's very heavy on the spice flavor. If you're in a rush in the morning and you don't have breakfast ready, I feel like this would be okay, but let's try the homemade version. The difference is definitely in the texture. I can taste the flakiness of the scones here and all of the layers in there. It just kind of like melts in your mouth. Now mine doesn't have as much of a pronounced spice flavor as theirs. I feel like they added maybe like a tablespoon if we're gonna compare apple to apples in the same batter. I only had 2.5 teaspoons, 2 teaspoons, 2.5 in there, so it's not as overpowering. When you bite into that, I almost feel like it tastes like gingerbread, to be honest. This, I can taste the pumpkin. It's not too sweet. The sweetness level of this compared to this is like half. So if you like your scones super sweet, then maybe add more sugar to the dough or buy theirs. But I like my scones just like this so that I can enjoy it with a nice cup of coffee or pumpkin spice latte if we're gonna be pumpkin spice all around. Anyways, both are good. I like mine better. That's just how it goes. I would love to know what kind of baking videos you guys want to see next. I'm thinking maybe like an apple hand pie instead of like a full apple pie. We'll do like a hand pie, but I want to hear from you and I want to make what you want to see, so comment below. And if you've watched this far, go ahead and give me a maple leaf and a pumpkin and an apple in the comment section below. I'll see you guys. Actually, I'll see you guys tomorrow for our last collaboration video with Chef Brooke Williamson. After that, we are gonna be making so many more baking and food idea videos. I can't wait. I'll see you guys soon. Bye! And that's a wrap. It is really... I like this one a lot more. Like, I should have eaten this before I ate this because this was so sweet. But this one's nice and flaky and it's like crunchy outside. You wanna try some?